Okay, welcome back. So in our last lesson on finding the equation for a parallel line, I kind of had a bit of a chat with some people and realized we were probably going through that video a little bit quick. So I decided to slow it down and make things a little bit more obvious as to where each value is going and why. So let's start off. Right here at the top, we have a formula for a straight line, and we're going to find a formula for a parallel line. Now, the first thing we're going to do is simply write that equation, write the problem that we've got. So we've got it there, y equals 2x plus 3. That is our formula for our line, and it's going to pass through point 1, 4. Now, remember with that, with that point 1, 4, our first point, that always represents, let's try that again. That always represents the x-axis. And the second point always represents the y-axis. Now that's going to be very important later on. So let's keep going. Our next step, we want to write our formula for a straight line, and it goes in the same format as we've got up above. So it's y equals mx plus c. Now from here, we're going to start to replace all of as many letters as we can with our known values, and that's what we're going to do now. So in our previous lesson, one of our previous lessons, we learned that any parallel line, or every single parallel line, is going to have the same slope or the same gradient. Now in this formula, gradient is represented by m. Okay, so in our original formula up the top, we can see that the value that is in place of that m is in fact our 2. So we're going to pull that down, and that's going to be the start of our new formula. So before we go any further, let's just put our equal sign in there. Now our next value that we can replace, we're going to come over and have a look at our point that it's going to pass through. And when we look at that point, we can see we have an x value there, and we have an x value here. We have a y value here, and we have a y value over here. So they're the values that actually replace the x and the y in our formula. So let's go ahead and let's drag them over. So our x value is just going to go here. Our y value, is not going to scale up, but is going to move over to here. Now you can see we've got the beginnings of a formula. We have a value here, and it equals everything that's on this side of the equal sign, so it balances out. Now, we need to remember that when we see letters in place of numbers, these are our variables. And by default, we're always going to use one operation if there's no other sign there. And that operation is times. Okay, so we're going to multiply. And then we're just going to finish it off with plus c, because we don't have a c value anywhere else in here apart from our original formula. And if we think back, we know that this c, or this value here, that represents our y-intercept. So just to recap so far, we want a parallel line with the same gradient, but it's going to have a different y-intercept. So that's what we need to solve for. So now that we have our formula, y equals m times x plus c. we need to solve for our only unknown variable, which in this case is c. So I'm going to multiply these two together first, and it's going to become 4 equals, well, 2 times 1 is 2, plus c. From there, I can cancel out my 2 because I know that by default, if there's no sign in front of it, it's going to be a positive 2. Kind of a dodgy positive. There we go. It's a positive 2. Now I ask myself, what is the opposite to positive 2? Well, the opposite to positive 2 is negative 2. And in doing that, I've just cancelled them both out. But now all of a sudden my equation is unbalanced. I've just taken 2 from one side, but I have to do it on the other side as well to balance it out. So I'm going to take 2 from here. Now all of a sudden I know 4 take 2, well, that's going to equal 2 equals c. Now I have my new y-intercept. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to rewrite my original formula, y equals 2x, but I'm going to leave the c blank. Okay, I'm going to leave that last little bit blank. I'm not going to write plus 3 in there because this is what I always needed to find. But what is going to happen though is that this 2 right here is going to come over into that part of my formula. But is it a positive 2 or a negative 2? In this case, we can see with no sign there, it is a positive 2. And this is my new formula for a line that is parallel to y equals 2x plus 3. Because if we then go ahead and put that 2 back in there, that's our original formula. Y equals 2x plus 3 is parallel to y equals 2x plus 2. Same gradient, different y-intercept. I hope this video has helped a little bit more. Please feel free to bring some questions into class and ask. I'm sure your teacher is more than happy to help out. Okay, catch you later.